Hello guys, this is your friend Itachi Fanfic 3.0 and we are back a new fanfic story which is, what if Naruto had given in to Kurama's hatred during the trial? Part 1. Let's start fanfic without wasting more time. The night was silent, broken only by the sound of distant thunder rumbling across the darkened skies of Konoha. Inside the Hokage monument, a shadow sat atop the carved stone faces, his blonde hair illuminated by the moonlight, his blue eyes staring into the horizon. Naruto Uzumaki had always dreamed of being the Hokage, not for glory, not for recognition, but to prove that even the most broken soul could protect others. Yet tonight, the dream felt heavy, almost distant. Because deep inside him, the nine-tailed fox stirred. Kurama's presence burned like molten fire behind his consciousness, restless and roaring. Greater than, you're hesitating again, brat. The deep, rumbling voice echoed in Naruto's mind. If you can't even face what's inside you, how will you protect anyone out there? Naruto clenched his fists. Greater than, you think I don't know that? He muttered aloud, teeth gritted. I'm trying, Kurama, but every time I reach out, all I feel is your hate. The fox's laughter thundered through his mindscape. Greater than, hate is what keeps me alive. It's what kept you alive too. Naruto stood, eyes flashing with defiance. No, my friends keep me alive. My dream keeps me alive. Lightning split the sky, casting shadows over his determined face. He jumped from the monument, landing softly on the streets below, his orange and black jacket fluttering. Tonight wasn't about training or missions. It was about something deeper. It was time to confront the fire inside. The inner world. Naruto closed his eyes, focusing his chakra. The world around him dissolved into darkness, replaced by the damp, echoing halls of his inner mind. Water pooled beneath his feet, reflecting the faint glow of chakra that pulsed from within him. Ahead, massive iron bars loomed like a prison gate. Behind them, two colossal eyes glowed crimson. Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, crouched in the shadows, his fiery fur flickering like molten embers. His nine tails lashed lazily, each movement radiating raw power. Greater than, back again. Kurama growled, baring his fangs. What do you want, boy? Naruto took a step forward. I'm not here to fight you this time. I'm here to understand you. The fox snorted, flames rippling across the surface of the water. Greater than, understand me. I'm hatred given form. I am destruction. There's nothing to understand. Naruto's voice softened. That's what everyone used to say about me too. Kurama paused. For a moment, the eternal anger in his eyes flickered. Greater than, you compare yourself to me. Naruto nodded. We both know what it's like to be alone. To be feared. To be called monsters. The silence that followed was heavier than any roar. Naruto walked closer, until he stood before the giant gate. The seal glowed faintly on his stomach, marking the line between man and beast. Greater than, I used to hate you, Naruto said quietly. Because of you, people looked at me like I didn't deserve to exist. But, now I know, you weren't the one who wanted that. You were just trapped. Like me. Kurama's claws scraped the ground, a low growl vibrating the air. Greater than, you think kind words can change what I am. You think the hatred of centuries can just vanish. Naruto raised his hand. No. But maybe we can start with something else. Trust. The fox stared, unblinking. For the first time in years, he saw not the reckless boy who shouted about becoming Hokage, but a warrior who had learned pain, loss, and forgiveness. Kurama's growl softened. Greater than, if you're serious about trust, then prove it. Let's see if your body, and your heart, can withstand my true power. The trial of fire. The world erupted in light. A torrent of red-orange chakra burst from the seal, engulfing Naruto in a roaring inferno. His vision blurred as waves of heat and rage flooded through him. He screamed. Not from pain, but from the sheer magnitude of the power surging inside. Kurama's chakra clawed at his spirit, testing his resolve, tempting him to lose control. Images flashed in his mind. Of villagers calling him a monster, of Sasuke's betrayal, of Jiraiya's death, of pain, loneliness, and anger. Greater than, give in, Naruto. The fox's voice thundered. You'll never be accepted. You'll never be enough. Naruto fell to one knee, gasping, his skin glowing with the fiery aura. But then, he saw flashes of light. Sakura smiling. Kakashi's calm eyes. Iruka's gentle hand on his shoulder. Hinata's quiet courage. And then, his younger self, standing alone on a swing outside the academy. He whispered to that lonely boy, "We made it this far. Don't give up now." Naruto rose, fire swirling around him like a living storm. "I'm not giving in, Kurama. I'll carry your power, but I'll never let your hatred control me." He thrust his hand forward, forming a spinning sphere of chakra, the Rasengan. The blue orb glowed fiercely within the orange flames of the fox's chakra, a perfect balance of human will and beastly power. "Greater than, you fool!" Kurama roared, but there was no malice now, only respect. Naruto dashed forward, his Rasengan colliding with the waves of Kurama's energy. The impact sent shockwaves through the mindscape, tearing through the darkness. When the light finally faded, Naruto stood, panting, surrounded by faint wisps of chakra that no longer burned. They shimmered, warm and golden. Kurama's massive head lowered, his eyes no longer crimson but deep amber. "Greater than, you've got guts, kid." Naruto smiled weakly. "Took you long enough to notice." The fox gave a low rumble, half growl, half chuckle. "Greater than, fine. You've earned it. I'll lend you my power. But remember, our strength comes from unity, not domination." Naruto nodded. "Deal." The seal between them glowed, transforming from the harsh chains of confinement into a glowing mark of partnership. And for the first time in history, the host and the beast stood side by side. The battle outside. Naruto opened his eyes, and the world outside burst into chaos. The village outskirts were under attack by rogue shinobi, their jutsu setting the forests ablaze. Explosions thundered through the night. He could feel Kurama's chakra flowing through him, not as a raging storm, but as a steady flame. His body glowed with golden energy, the mark of their newfound bond. "Greater than, ready?" Kurama asked within his mind. Naruto grinned. "Always." He launched forward, moving faster than sound, flames trailing behind him. The first wave of enemies barely had time to react before a massive blast of chakra knocked them back. Rasengan. The sphere in his hand glowed brighter than ever, and fused with Kurama's fiery chakra, it exploded upon impact, leveling the battlefield in a burst of light. The remaining shinobi stared in awe. "What is he?" one whispered. Naruto stood amidst the smoke, eyes glowing, cloak of fire swirling around him. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the one who never gives up." The ground trembled as he slammed his hands together, creating dozens of shadow clones that filled the clearing. Each clone burned with the same golden aura. "Greater than, let's end this together." The army of Naruto's charged, the flames of the nine tails blazing behind them. Every strike, every Rasengan, carried the force of two spirits united in purpose. When the dust settled, silence returned. The enemy was gone, defeated not by hatred, but by willpower. Naruto stood breathing heavily, the chakra cloak fading into the night air. "Greater than, not bad," Kurama murmured. "You're finally starting to act like a real Jinchuriki." Naruto chuckled. "Guess we make a pretty good team." "Greater than, don't push it, brat." Naruto smiled and looked toward the stars. For the first time, he didn't feel alone in his own body. The power that once terrified him had become his greatest ally. A fire that burns for all. Dawn broke over Konoha. The golden light bathed the village, washing away the scars of battle. From the Hokage monument, Naruto watched the sunrise, the same place he had stood the night before, but everything was different now. He placed a hand over his heart. You still there, Kurama? Greater than, always. Naruto smiled. Good. Because I'm not done yet. I promised to protect this village, and I'll keep that promise, for both of us. Kurama's deep voice softened. Greater than, then let that fire burn, Naruto. Let it burn for everyone who still believes. The wind picked up, rustling his hair, carrying with it the warmth of the sun. The flames of Kurama's chakra flickered faintly around him, not destructive, but protective, like the light of a guardian spirit. Naruto gazed at the village below, the children laughing, the villagers rebuilding, the Hokage tower standing tall. He knew that one day he would sit in that tower, not as the monster they once feared, but as the protector they trusted. Because the fire within him no longer burned to destroy. It burned to protect. That night, under a sky filled with stars, Naruto sat beneath the old swing in the academy yard. The same swing where his younger self had once cried in loneliness. Now, the swing was just a memory, a reminder of how far he had come. He whispered softly, "Thank you, Kurama. Greater than, HMPH. Don't thank me yet. There's still much to do. Wars to prevent, people to save." Naruto laughed quietly. You sound like Jiraiya now. Greater than, that fool of a sage. Don't insult me. Kurama snorted, but Naruto could feel the faint amusement beneath his tone. As the night deepened, the orange glow of chakra flickered faintly around Naruto, fading into the cool air. And somewhere deep within, two hearts, one human, one beast, beat as one. The story of the boy who was once shunned had become the tale of a hero who carried the fire of hope. For as long as that flame burned, Konoha, and the world, would never fall into darkness again.